So guys, a northerner has joined Showore calling for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release. But before we get into that, take a look at this headline. This one says, Katsina local government chairman attends wedding of bandits children weeks after peace pact despite no surrender of weapons. So this is a local government chairman. He attended the weddings of children of bandits. So guys, you can see that these government officials are equally part and parcel of this criminality we are seeing in this country. So we know that recently the government granted them amnesty. Guess what? They did not surrender their weapons. They are still parading with their weapons. And now they organize wedding ceremonies for their children. They are no longer hiding. And guess who was there? A local government chairman. So you can see that these people who are government officials, they know the in and out of these bandits. And it is really, really so sad that Nigerian government is keeping quiet over this, and they are using Nnamdi Kanu as an scapegoat. Now, a northerner has joined Showore to call for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release. This is Madi Shehu. And he says in this Twitter post he posted yesterday, he said, exclusion of Mazi Kanu by the National Council of State decision is a fundamental flaw and insensitive. You may have heard that the Tinubu's government forgave some criminal people who committed one crime at one point or the other. You know, some of them are already dead, some of them are still alive. The government of the day granted them pardon. Now Madi Shehu is saying, why did they not include Nnamdi Kanu in the list of the people they granted pardon? Now I'm going to read a portion of what he said here on Twitter. He wrote and said, today the National Council of State decided to grant clemency, amnesty, pardon, etc. to various categories of Nigerians, both dead and alive. Shockingly, surprisingly, scandalously, and deliberately, not a single mention or reference was made about Mazi Kanu. That's Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He went further to say, no single member of the Council of State from the Southeast made even a mute attempt to mention Kanu's case. They were all silent, as if destroyed by Tinubu's thunder, lightning, and political tsunami. That they were quiet, as if Tinubu sent thunder and lightning and tsunami to destroy them. I'm not going to be reading everything he wrote here, but let me just read a little more for you to understand the context of this. He further said, ignoring Mazi Kanu and skimming him out with the help and support of Igbo 7 governors and influential politicians from the Southeast means Nigeria or Nigerians are not ready for peace through dialogue. Can you see it? This man is from the North. Look at what he further wrote. He said, if Boko Haram killer groups, Niger Delta killer network, Fulani killer militias are being pardoned, compensated, trained, and integrated into the communities, then the release of Kanu has graduated to a right, not a favor. This man is saying if Boko Haram, bandits, Niger Delta militants, and all that, they've all received pardon. Nnamdi Kanu is asking for cessation. His own release is now a right. It's not even a favor that he's supposed to be long released. Now Showore added to that and said, today Bola Tinubu extended pardon to a long list of convicted individuals, including a cocaine trafficker serving a life sentence, an alleged coup plotter, Maman Vatsa, the late the late Nnamdi Azikiwe and Herbert Macaulay, and even Farouk Lawan, the former lawmaker convicted for taking bribe on tape. He also pardoned other known fraudsters and corrupt politicians. Yet, in all this, Tinubu refuses even to consider the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has been unjustly detained for years, despite multiple court orders mandating his release. It is a glaring hypocrisy. Criminals and political thieves are forgiven, celebrated, and rehabilitated, while a man demanding self-determination and justice remains behind bars and tossed around in court with the pretense that somehow It is about the law. They will tell you they cannot release Nnamdi Kanu because his case is in court. It's about the law. That is what Showore is saying. So, guys, it will even shock you to know that Falana has joined the call for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release. So, Falana is asking that Nnamdi Kanu be released, that it is long overdue. Falana equally went to Abia State to meet with the Abia State governor on this, and this person here tweeted and said Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case is purely political. If the government can negotiate with bandits and criminals, nothing stops them from resolving this one. This is coming from Falana, S-A-N. He said it is political. They are using him just for their own political gain. So, guys, these are some of the troubling or a kind of heartbreaking, heart-touching headlines on the social media. We have seen all kinds of criminality. Now, I'm going to show you this very military man that is threatening a Christian in the north that he's going to buy the Christian because the Christian is speaking up about genocide in Nigeria. A military man on uniform used his is it his Twitter handle or his TikTok handle to threaten another citizen. So he doesn't want Christian genocide to be talked about. So you can see the kind of people we have in our military today. They are even part and parcel of these criminals we have all over the places. So, guys, a whole lot is happening in Nigeria. Let me allow you to listen for yourself what Showore told Arise TV about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Take your time and watch this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Take a look.
Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was in court today. Was in court today. So we really want to know what's the position?
His case is pending in court.
Yes.
I cannot comment on pending proceedings.
Okay.
I cannot comment on pending proceedings. You understand me? Because like you said, the case was in court today. All I can do for me is that is a matter that should be sorted out outside the courtroom. For me, it's a political case. Yeah, and if you have a situation where some governments are negotiating with bandits or the criminal elements, I mean, there can be no basis for not having that matter resolved politically.
I mean, are there lingering security-related things that are yet to be resolved around Mr. Kanu? I mean, can he, for instance, call on IPOB? I think he's called on them before, but again, to relinquish all forms of violence and all forms of threat to the Nigerian state. Will that be needed as well in order to convince the powers that be of Mr. Kanu's sincerity?
I think he made an open declaration in court, where he said, give me 5 minutes if I'm released, I'm going to end the violence in the Southeast. He made the declaration in court last year. What does you want from him? And you are the government, at any rate, you have a duty to protect the public. It's not his job to protect the Southeast or the Southwest. But the truth is that I have said this, and I'll repeat again. If you are a Nigerian, you can get away with a lot of things. But if you are Igbo, Nigerian, you can't get away with a lot of things. Yes.
But you're not getting away with much.
Yes, but the odds are stacked against you because you're coming with zero, and they'll do to you. I mean, it was in this country that there's a Yoruba nation movement. They even went and hijacked a radio station last year. Did you hear of any trial? Did you hear of any arrest? I'm not using that. I'm not saying that that should not be the case, but we must tell ourselves the truth. That it just doesn't look good that the Igbos are marginalized in every sector, including in the justice sector. To get a trial wrapped up in 10 years is that so difficult to do, especially when you claim that you have evidence that this person has committed these grievous crimes. Nothing has been done. There's nobody who's been presented as a witness. The only witness that was presented in his case did not accuse him of any crime. He didn't say he found a gun on him or he was importing ammunition or weapons or had a grenade. He just said, well, he was making declaration that he wants Biafra. And I've checked the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 Constitution. There's nowhere it is stated that it's a crime to say that you want Biafra.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do have to, and not to sort of qualify what you're saying, but I mean, the person asking for a Yoruba nation is quite different from the Biafra issue, because Biafra, actually, there was a war in this country.
That's exactly what I'm telling you, that the laws are stacked against you.
That lasted quite some
Absolutely.
time. So in that context, and in that very narrow context, anything that appears to inflame that concept of, bringing back the memories of the war and all the things that happened, and in a sense threatening this country, is something that raises the hackles of people. But let me ask you this. I mean, you yourself have become a sort of master of the protests, if that can be described in polite terms. I mean, is that because you believe that over the years or over the decades, the mood of the times in this country has been politically dark and is getting darker?
Yes, I have always stated that every president in Nigeria is worse than the last one. When Buhari left, everybody said this is going to be the worst. And after Buhari left, people were calling for the return of the Buhari regime. So that shows to you that
to be fair, I haven't heard a lot of people calling for the return of the Buhari
I heard a lot of
regime.
people who said, well,
I mean, in preference to the Tinubu regime.
I've heard people say, give us Buhari fuel price, give us Buhari's Naira.
Yes, I suppose in that sense, because the prices were lower. Yeah.
The same people also went and gave Buhari a rousing burial. So it doesn't look like they hate him. I was probably the only person who said, this guy don't deserve the kind of monumental, acclaim and cheerleading that followed his burial. But that's the conversation for another day, because it's no longer here. But the truth is that the country is getting darker. The electoral process has become very Byzantine. Nobody believed that elections can deliver votes that bring about credibility, that they can be free and fair, and that it is the people you vote for that will get declared as winners of election. Of course, you've seen poverty. Yesterday, they said, this is from the Nigerian government, that from 81 million people who are in abject poverty, we have now moved to 139 million, and we have 200 million people. So we're not making progress. That's the truth, either politically, economically, culturally, and socially. I don't see.
Well, the government is disputing those sort of World Bank figures, and they would say to you, I'm sure you've heard them say it very times, that your view of this country is particularly melancholy and despairing.
Well, they've always said that, and I've never been wrong. They have been the ones who've been wrong. My position on politics, economy, in the way the justice system works has been, right. I remember in 2019 when I was arrested in the charge for treason, I made it clear. I said, nope, this is going nowhere. And that's what happened. One day they came and withdrew their charges. So when I said to you that elections are not free, fair, or credible, or that they are allocating votes, I'm not lying. When you look at it, you find out I'm right. So
I expect a lot of Nigerians would agree with you. Your assessment to that.
On the issue of Nnamdi Kanu that we're talking about today, I've always stated that this trial was not going anywhere, and it hasn't gone anywhere. And that's why we're asking them to stop wasting resources, time, energy, and emotions on this, because the DSS spent millions of naira to come and carry out this charade in court. They have to lock up every street just to come and seek an adjournment.
And would you say that that dark theme that you talk about, that kind of overshadows this country, has resonance for many Nigerians? I mean, you do have a huge following, but do they see this country as darkly as you do, and that sense that everything is about to explode?
They see it even more than I do. That's why they are living. That's why most Nigerians, whenever they have the slightest opportunity to leave Nigeria, you don't leave a place that is that's going to explode. I mean, that's making progress.
you stay and wait for it to see the progress happen. If this place was promised land, people will be coming in. But because it is not, people are leaving, you know. The only people that are left in Nigeria are people who are stuck in Nigeria, and are probably people who are dinosaurs who can't go anywhere because they can't sense danger.
But you're not stuck in Nigeria, are you?
I'm likely stuck. This is my passport since January. But even if my passport was not seized, I'll be here. You know, that's a decision I took a long time ago. Even though I have a right to move freely around the world, that I'm done with being, you know, having a career in being, you know, an exile or, you know, being in another person's country. Yeah, because why did we go there in the first place? We travel 12,000 miles just to go and drink drinkable water in America, enjoy electricity, drive on good roads, get good jobs, send our children to school. That's why we all leave this place. If we have that over here, nobody will be a second-class citizen in the UK or anywhere in Europe. Those are the basic reasons why we leave this place. We go and seek hospitals that work. We go and drive on roads that don't kill people. We don't want to live in darkness. We don't want our neighbors to cut our necks off because of insecurity. We don't want our police to jail us when we haven't committed any offense. That's the reason we leave. These are the basic reasons why Nigerians are living in droves. If those conditions are in place, people who have left will return by tomorrow. Some of them will return without taking a single bag of clothing to come back. But Nigeria has denied them that opportunity, and it is because of that darkness that is hovering over Nigeria almost perpetually, day and night, that people are living. That is their own way of expressing that things are not good here anymore.
Well, on that,
Free Nnamdi Kanu now.
so is there likely to be an end to the ordeal of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu anytime soon? Or is he now likely to wither away in perpetual detention as his supporters fear? The IPOB separatist leader has been incarcerated for over 10 years on charges of treasonable felony, despite various court orders and appeals for his release. Till date, he stands unconvicted, and for many champions of justice, his continued detention is both a travesty and a violation of his fundamental human rights. They say this exposes the widening gap between Nigeria's constitutional provisions of a right to a fair trial within a reasonable time and the daily realities of the citizens of this besmirched country, in a world in which the enduring principle and the cornerstone of the law is that every individual is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Well, today, a new call for action has been made by the human rights activist Omoyele Sowore, challenging Nigerians across ethnic lines to join him in a peaceful march to the Aso Rock presidential villa to demand Mr. Kanu's release, even as his health is reported to be fast deteriorating in custody. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the irrepressible human rights activist and former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
What has motivated you to take the step of calling on people to take to the streets to draw attention to the need to release Mr. Kanu?
So a number of things, and one is that we're friends, and we've been friends for a long time. In fact, I was one of the few people through Sahara TV that interviewed Nnamdi Kanu when he was relatively unknown, before he was arrested the first time. And I met him in 2019 in New York, had a conversation about the struggle for his people, and we struck a friendship then. And I was here in Nigeria, myself, held up by the Nigerian government when he was extraordinary rendition from Kenya. In fact, I was one of the few people who ran to court by the time he had been taken to the DSS detention, where he had been deposited before, after he was kidnapped from Kenya. So, but the most important thing is that I understand the nature of justice, fair hearing, his constitutional right. And it is in his own case that you can say that he's presumed guilty and he's trying to prove his innocence, which is very sad. If you look at how long it has taken for all these court processes to take place, you know that Kanu's fate is not in the hands of the judiciary. If a decision was taken today by the owners of Nigeria to let him go, the judge might sit in the middle of the night and let him go. And by the way, on my way here, something happened. President Tinubu just pardoned 82 people. One of them was Herbert Macaulay, Nnamdi Azikiwe, of course, Farouk, who collected a bribe from Otedola, a cocaine dealer who was in prison for life, and a fraudster. So if you can pardon this array of people and several others, I'm not asking for pardon for him, but it's a time to let Nnamdi Kanu go.
Is there a lot of public support for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, or is that difficult to gauge?
Oh, it's unprecedented. I've been fighting for his release for a long time. I used to attend all his court trials. Under Buhari, I was attacked several times. Each time I went to court, I was attacked physically by DSS, police, thugs. But this time around, I'm surprised at the number of known traditional people, you know what I mean, who are in support of it. In fact, there was a poll put up by, it's not a scientific poll, by Tunde Ednon's page, who's a major Instagram influencer. And out of 17,000 people, 92% of them support the call for his release and the protest that has been planned for 28th of October.
I understand you've tried to contact many leaders in the Southeast to take more public-facing action in support of Nnamdi Kanu's release. Have you been struck by their apparent lack of personal involvement and commitment to that cause?
I'm not shocked, because I think on your show I once declared that Kanu's predicament, his ordeal, is as a result of some persons in the Southeast who took a decision that his release would jeopardize their political career and future. That I know as far back as when Tinubu freshly became president, because I was part of some conversation to release him. And they said at that time, Imo elections are coming. If it comes out, APC might not win. And subsequently, I realized that some of the communiques you see is just, word of mouth by day. When they go at night or when they meet Tinubu, it's likely that they have a different position. And when I started contacting them in the last 24 hours, I'm shocked. Some of them that I used to be able to reach just switched off their lines. The ones I sent messages never responded. I reached out to Soludo, who I know personally.
That's Charles Soludo, who's
the governor of Anambra State. No response till now. I reached out to Alex Oti. Alex Oti used to be a columnist for Sahara Reporters, so I know him personally. No response till now. The only response I got was a nominal response that no, we shouldn't have dragged us the way you did. Reached out to Peter Obi, they said he's in Rome. But I sent a message that you can behave as the Romans do too. Just be part of this. But some have been encouraging. Senator Abaribe, I reached out to him, he responded, he said, I'm in on this. And I know that Abaribe suffered when he was a shortage for Kanu. In fact, I was sleeping on Abaribe's bed at the DSS in 2019, shortly after he was released, because he was shortage for Nnamdi Kanu. So the rep from his state at the House of Rep also has signed up. A number of persons have signed up, some of them publicly, but there is no unified response from Southeastern political leaders or traditional rulers or even the religious priesthood there, which many had expected would happen. But a lot of young people are signed up to this, and you can see that the Nigerian government is already pushing back because they've seen the response to be unequivocally in support of the release of Nnamdi Kanu at this time. I don't think they were expecting that such a response would be so favorable and swift.
So is this what you think is needed to push this Nnamdi Kanu issue over the line and perhaps change President Tinubu's view of Mr. Kanu and not the sort of behind-the-scenes quiet diplomacy that has been going on since?
It's obvious that diplomacy cannot work. If it was going to work, by now it would have resolved the issue. I think they used the diplomacy or their proclamation about diplomacy to just make the public become a little lethargic about his release so that nobody, they're working on it, don't worry. Because we hear that a lot from Oti, who is the Abia State governor, that is working on this quietly. In fact, I was told in court about 2 weeks ago that he will be released on head grounds. They had convinced everybody, only for him to come to court, and they kept changing the goalpost, as we call it. So I don't think diplomacy has to be a combination of, actions. And one of it, I think, is going to be a loud public disapproval of his continued detention, and the protest would work, in my view, in that regard. And that's why I want these people who claim to want him to be released to join the protest. Yes, because when they have issues, they do protest. There's no major politician in this country that has never participated in the protest when their own private interests are at stake.
I was speaking to a group of Nigerian political campaigners recently, and they seem to think that mobilizing the Nigerian people for any kind of large-scale protest has become a sort of famously impossible thing to achieve. I mean, do you share that view?
Well, I don't. It's the same country in 2024 that Nigerians protested for 10 days straight in what was known as End Bad Governance struggle. Nigerians in 2020 did NSAS. It was a globally acclaimed resistance.
Well, to be fair, the NSAS was the last big protest.
Yes, but there was still a protest in 2024. It may not have been as big. What I'm saying is that, yes, there's been efforts to discourage Nigerians, and when you go out there and kill people and charge them for offenses that are very grievous in nature, you're likely to discourage a country in which, you know, you have 139 million people who are living in abject poverty. They just want to go out there and get whatever they can and survive from day to day, hand to mouth. So, but I don't think that is impossible. What has been impossible is the unity of purpose, because they have figured out how to divide us, you know, along ethnicity. I remember in 2024, when we were planning bad governance protest, we included the release of nnamdi Kanu in that protest. And Johannes Ndigo, when I issued a statement that they are not part of the protest. So maybe by now, we would have gotten nnamdi released. So there's also a lot of tactics used by Nigerian government to discourage people. And some of it is how they have made it open-ended to kill protesters, you know, implicate them in crimes that are insurmountable. You saw in 2024 how they charged children for treason. It's never happened anywhere in the world before. So, but I think the consciousness around this is great. And I also think that in some ways, Nigerians always love when things are happening in other places. They love the replica of it. You know, you notice that there's been a lot of chatter around Nepal, you know, in Morocco recently. So maybe, you know, that's also might be an inspiration.
Right, but
Guys, let me quickly take you through some of the reactions on the social media as regards to Sowore calling on Nnamdi Kanu, calling for Nnamdi Kanu's release. And, you know, this same video was posted on Twitter, on the Twitter handle of Arise TV. It says, Nigeria can get away with a lot of things, but Igbo Nigerians cannot. Oh my God. Really, really so pathetic that Igbos cannot. In this country, there is a Yoruba movement that even hijacked radio station, and we have still not heard of any arrests or trials. We must tell ourselves the truth. Omoyele Sowore. Sowore is saying that many Nigerians can get away with so many things, but the Igbos cannot because of that hatred for Ndi Igbo. Now, let me take you through some of the reactions from Nigerians. Like this person here said, let me see if our useless leaders will talk about rehabilitation, reintegration, and dialogue with them again. Make we all try to get sense in this damn country. Stop fooling around and falling for your stupid game. Another person here is other Nigerians only get away with hurting their fellow regular Nigerians. We are all on the menu and no tribe is special. Terrorists sacking military bases and killing soldiers can easily enter government house, kill politicians, kidnap families. See how fast they change them for them. They gave them amnesty. This other person said, Nigeria can get away with a lot of things, but Igbo Nigerians cannot. And yet, he wants PO out there protesting to make it worse. On 20th of fucking October, PO, Peter Obi will not get away with all Sowore has gotten away with. That's fact. And this person say, even Dick and Harry is now using Igbos to chase cloud. There's nothing like that. What Sowore is doing is a just cost. This same person tweeted a lot of tweets here. Let me just read them. The same person talking, and it says, it's very easy to play on the intelligence of Nigeria. Every tribe is suffering hunger, poverty, insecurity, poor hospitals, schools, etc. None of us get away from the ruling elite's wickedness. However, only thing other Nigerians get away with is harming fellow regular Nigerians. The person still wrote again and said, in mind of many regular northerners, southerners, other tribes, they think they are getting special treatment. They don't realize their only role is to serve as buffer for ruling class from Igbos that change the unjust system, nothing but impoverished, wretched, hungry, and human shield. I think this person, let me just skip his tweets because I'm not understanding it very well. And this other person says, Tinubu's people doing the underground work to channel emotion and empathy to Tinubu so he can politically release Nnamdi Kanu and capture the South. His emotion will keep us in bondage. No, I don't agree with this. Another person here said, this Sowore is speaking the gospel truth. If any Igbo man do anything in Nigeria, police, army will find them to buy. But another tribe do same thing. The Igbo man do not. But another tribe do same thing that Igbo man do. Nothing will happen. The wisdom of Igbo is beginning of own wisdom. They can't stop Igbo from shining. It's from God. Okay, and this one, same Sowore that admitted he's being taught from young not to interact with Igbos. Who is saying this? Very uncomfortable truth. You can all disagree with him, but you and I know the truth. Another person here says, tell them so they listen. Fools thinking fighting their own people will make them look good to the outside world. Your newfound love for IPOB agenda won't give you the presidency. Who is saying that? Abiodun somebody. And this other person here said, this Showore is speaking the hot truth. Showore is speaking the hot truth. Why are you guys discussing a live matter? Why are you guys discussing a live matter on TV? Be like NBC don't die. I don't understand this person. And another person here said, President Tinubu did not arrest nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu's matter is in court. You want the president to override a matter in court and cut Kanu free. Showore, this your newfound agenda to reel up Nigerians. But this time, Igbos won't work. Who is saying this? But this time, the Igbos won't work. Look for another agenda. Another person here say, yes, Igbo, one Nigerians still love their chain. Another emergency activist, they look for vote from Igbo, where Igbo were a man. He should invite Igbo APC members to protest. The Igbo support you are looking for, you will not get it. This is coming from, this is one is trying to say this one is trying to set some people up and use them on a never learn. With this step, he will remain activist forever. I don't know what is wrong with Nigerians. Human rights activists. Only on Sundown TV. Only on Sundown TV. So, many people are thinking that Showore is doing this because of politics. We know that even before Nnamdi Kanu was held back, Showore has always been a friend to Nnamdi Kanu. That I know very well. He has met with Nnamdi Kanu. He conversed with him. They were always together before Nnamdi Kanu was taken in. All those people Nnamdi Kanu was preparing to come to court, Showore was always around him. So people now saying that Showore is trying to use this to chase clout is what I don't understand. There is nothing like that. It's only somebody who does not even understand what it means to, be incarcerated, that will not understand what Nnamdi Kanu is going through. The DSS detention. There was a time even to bring him out to take sunlight was war. They had to battle that. And this time around, they are saying that his kidney, his liver, he has some lumps and all that, his potassium level, all kinds of health-related challenges that can make somebody to die the next moment. And the DSS is sitting on it. What is their gain in holding Nnamdi Kanu? There is no gain for them. They think holding it is going to give them the Southeast, is going to give the APC the Southeast. It won't. The best thing for them is for them to reach an agreement. If the federal government could negotiate with bandits and reach an agreement, how much more somebody that is asking for secession? Is it a wrong demand that you want to be on your own? You want Biafra to be independent? It's nothing. There is nothing wrong. The federal government should understand that it's a constitutional right that people say we don't want to belong here, we want to be on our own. Then you call them to the table and say, okay, why do you want to be on your own? Let's settle it. You can imagine that since after the Biafran war, there is nothing that has been done to at least a kind of bring down the tension of the Igbos after the Biafran war. People were giving, is it $20 or how much, to go start their lives, and that's all. The post-war activities that are supposed to have taken place, nothing. And then Nigerians are watching the Igbos being marginalized. Igbos cannot be in political space. Igbos cannot hold key positions. Even if they travel to other parts of the country to do business, they are being pursued away and all that. Just for you to know that, see, there is no place for an Igbo man in this country. And until we come to a round table to discuss the unity of this country, we'll continue to have this. When you go to the social media, you see how the Igbos and the Yorubas are fighting. You will know that they still a long way to go when it comes to unifying this country. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Thank you.
I decided to pay a courtesy call on the governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Oti, who actually used to be my comrade maintain a relationship, and it won't be proper if I didn't inform His Excellency that I'm in his state. They say in my place, you don't pass through the Oba's palace without saying, without paying your obeisance. You know, I just came to let the governor know I'm in town, and then we had cause to discuss a couple of things. Well, I've been coming here since the inauguration of the civilian government since 1999. And I can say without any fear of contradiction that I've seen signs of governance, which was not there before. I've seen evidence of physical development. I've also spoken to people. It's not enough to go around and see physical development without finding out from the people how they are faring. And I've had very positive comments from the people. And so part of my discussion with His Excellency is how to intensify these efforts and ensure that the people remain the center of the administration. The people must benefit from dividends of democracy. And that is the best measurement. I've gone around, I've seen gurus, seen good schools, hospitals. And I am very confident that the governor can do much more than he has done. And he owes some of us a duty, right, to ensure that it does not disappoint the people. And some of us will not spare him if he does disappoint the people. Yep.
Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was in court today.
Was what?
Was in court today. So we really want to know what's your position?
His case is pending in court.
Yes.
I cannot comment on pending proceedings.
Okay.
I cannot comment on pending proceedings. You understand me? Because like you said, the case was in court today. All I can do for me is that is a matter that should be sorted out outside the courtroom. For me, it's a political case. Yeah, and if you have a situation where some governments are negotiating with bandits or the criminal elements, I mean, there can be no basis for not having that matter resolved politically.